got the red, white, blue, flying high on the farm. Semper Fi tattooed on his left arm. Spent a little more in the store for a tag. In the back it says USA. He won't buy nothing and he can't fix. With WD-40 and a Craftsman wrench, he ain't French or dust. He's just made in America.
Welcome to the Costa Mesa Pettis Perspective. This is episode 11. And tonight we're going to be talking about the Costa Mesa City Council meeting on 4/20. No, but seriously, it was 4/20, and I'm very disappointed since this is the main part of the meeting dealt with cannabis, and nobody referenced it in the council meeting. And so that was impressive. Anyway, so we are talking mostly, the meeting had a lot that went on, but the majority of the meeting was related to the first reading of this cannabis ordinance. In short, it's an ordinance to amend title licenses and business regulations of the Costa Mesa Municipal Code regarding the taxation, regulation, operating requirements, and standards for cannabis use, including retail cannabis. Now, this isn't a video where I'm going to give my moral judgment either way on Measure Q, weed smoking, marijuana use, anything like that. It was already passed by the people. Measure Q was voted in, and I ended up coming out against Measure Q, but not for anything related to the morality of marijuana use. Mostly it had to do with the economics and the administrative aspects of it at the city level. So what am I talking about? Well, first I want to say that when you're looking at a person like myself, constitutional conservative, believe in the free market economy, I believe in, capitalism, and everybody has a fair shot that they can work hard, start a business, earn a living. But one thing that if somebody is truly into free markets and believes in the free market system, one of the things that we absolutely are not in favor of is crony capitalism. I would almost venture to say that I am more, or when I say we, people of my ideology are more against the idea of cronyism than even overreaching government. And there's a reason for that, and we're going to talk about that here. And so what I did was the reason for this first reading and what it means for the layman out there that aren't watching these council meetings is you have the planning commission who got together and they put forward their recommendations in a long report, staff report that I have here. They debate, deliberate. Sometimes I think it went over 2 sessions for the planning commission, and then their recommendations go to the city council, which is then the first reading, which was this past Tuesday. So the vote was, the idea was to hear the recommendations of the Planning Commission for Measure Q and some of the particulars. And the one thing that I have a problem with is, it's not Measure Q itself. You have, in summary, when you look at the summary after the report given to the City Council, Chapter 4, Section 9-4825, the overall point, this is a summary of what the Planning Commission had given to the Council in this particular aspect of the ordinance. Added a section to expand on city manager's authority to make reasonable rules and procedure to administer and enforce any regulations related to permitting commercial cannabis business. So what we have here is Ms. Harold Farrison, who is our city manager, has been given broad, sweeping power the city manager is a functioning staff member and functions at the pleasure of city council. And what's happened here is the council has given her massive authority over the permits issued for retail cannabis sales, which are worth millions of dollars. So you have one person who's been given the power to issue permits, to regulate permits, to say what goes, what doesn't. And I'm going to actually read to you some of the things. I had to go through the actual planning commission staff report, and I do this so you don't have to. And to start, it says the city council may, by resolution, limit and or curtail the number of cannabis and retail permits available for issuance and or renewal. Let me read that again. The city council, by extension, city manager, may, by resolution, limit or curtail the number of cannabis retail permits available for issuance and or renewal, i.e., they can give out as few or as many as they like. And that's Mrs. Farrell Harrison. So the further detail I'm going to read you here, and I'm letting the public know this because this was buried. I mean, this particular part right here, 9-497, is on page 19 of the staff report of the Planning Commission. Again, these are recommendations voted on by the Planning Commission, now given to City Council, and they're being asked to adopt these. The city manager is authorized to establish any additional administrative rules, regulations, and standards governing the issuance, denial, or renewal of cannabis business permits, or concerning any subject necessary to carry out the purpose of this chapter. 9-498, under the heading of inspection and enforcement. The city manager is charged with enforcing the provisions of the Costa Mesa Municipal Code. I'm going to read that first sentence again. The city manager is charged with enforcing the provisions of the Costa Mesa Municipal Code, or any provision thereof, and may enter the location of a cannabis business at any time during the hours of operation without notice, and inspect the location of any cannabis business, as well as any recordings and records required to maintain pursuant to this title under applicable provisions of state law. So, in a nutshell, this is cronyism. Why? Because it is a city manager who can decide if she wants to slow walk a permit, or if she wants to put somebody in front of the stack, if she wants to only issue 6, 7, 8, she wants to take them away, she wants to shut them down. All rests, for the most part, under one person. And that leads to permits, in my view, if you look at the donating people to various campaigns, will inevitably lead to cronyism. What I would like to see is when Measure Q was adopted, again, not saying if it was right or wrong based on cannabis itself, let the free market go. Let as many people as want to apply that qualify can get permits, and that's how it should be, without any influence on number of permits. This should be something that's voted on by the council. Permits are decided on by the council, not one person, and not power concentrated into one person. It reminds me of what we've done with Congress and the executive branch at the national level. What we like to do is we like to say, going back, I'm not talking liberal, I'm not talking Republican. It used to be that the last war that was waged actually by Congress, declared war, was Vietnam, right? So since then, we've had many of engagements, military engagements, that have been started by different executives and different political parties. And the reason is that Congress has given up slowly over time a lot of their power to the executive. And here we are complaining about when Trump, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, George Bush goes to war without the sanctioning or permission of Congress. It's because we gave that power up, and that's what we're doing in this case too. And I find this will lead to cronyism, and I think it's a bad thing. So that's what we need. And again, this is the first reading. There's going to be a second reading. So and the readings have to do with the Planning Commission is putting forward to the council to vote on. So I want the public to know how this works, and that is what I'm going to say about cannabis. The last thing I do want to say, since I'm not sure how long I've been going, but I did attend the Zoom call for the Orange County GOP Central Committee, and Fred Whitaker was the host, and I thought it was kind of cool because they did a lot of procedural things, but the main thing, this was on Monday, 4/19, a couple days ago, the committee voted on a resolution to recommend to the California Republican Party that a special convention of delegates be formed to select the next governor candidate, or who is going to be the one endorsing candidate. The best estimate, this is related to the recall of Newsom, please. And if this happens, the recall is likely late October, early November. If this goes down, then that would mean that California needs to have a candidate up and running by June, July, early July at the latest. So again, the OCGOP Central Committee agreed that they're going to recommend to the California State Republican Party that we should have, and this is the resolution they voted on, they're going to recommend to the to the California Republican Party that we have a process, a convention in which we can distill down and everybody get behind, endorse, and support one candidate. And I would like to see that happen at the county and state level, and therefore I would also like to see that on the city level too, which I'm going to be involved in some of those things going forward. And on that note, thank you guys. And I want to remind everybody that Ambassador Grinnell will be Sunday the 25th. And if you haven't bought tickets, I think there are still some, and I recommend that you get a ticket and go see it. Michelle Steele will be there, and Fred Whitaker will be there. So it's going to be a great lineup, and I encourage anybody to go see it. I will be there. My wife will be there. And please do it. But the most important thing is to be kind to yourself, be good to each other. Together we can get it done, and bye for now.